Sarah was 21 years old and lived in a small, modest house with her parents and younger brother. Her family did not have much money, but their home was filled with the smell of home-cooked meals and the sound of laughter. However, the financial pressure was always there, like a shadow in the corner of the room. Sarah felt she had to be the perfect daughter to make life easier for everyone. In her neighborhood, she was known as the girl with the golden heart. Sarah was kind, always smiling, and had a very hard time saying no to anyone. She believed that her value came from how much she could do for others. She was the one who stayed late to help the elderly neighbor clean her garden, and the one who sacrificed her sleep to help her brother prepare for his math tests. She lived by a simple rule: if I am good to the world will be good to me. She didn't realize that some people don't see kindness as a gift, but as an opportunity to take without giving back. She was building a mountain of favors, hoping that one day someone would help her climb her own mountain. Sarah's best friend was named Maya. Maya was ambitious, loud, and dreamed of starting her own business. She had the ideas, but she lacked the patience for the small, difficult details. One afternoon, while they were sitting in Sarah's small kitchen, Maya came to her with a proposal. "Sarah, I want to create a brand of natural, eco-friendly skincare products," Maya said, her eyes glowing with excitement. "But I don't know how to start the marketing, the design, or the production. You are so creative and organized. Can you help me build this from the ground up?" At that moment, Sarah was actually looking for a job to help her parents pay the mounting bills. However, because she loved Maya and wanted to see her succeed, she agreed immediately. "Of course, Maya, I will give you everything I have. I will help you for free until the business is successful enough to pay us both." For the next 6 months, Sarah worked like a machine. Her life became a cycle of ingredients, labels, and computer screens. She spent her days researching the healing properties of lavender, jojoba oil, and shea butter. She spent her nights teaching herself graphic design to create the logo, the packaging, and the website. She even used her small personal savings, money she had saved for a new pair of shoes, to buy the first set of high-quality glass jars. She told herself it was an investment in friendship. While Maya was out at networking events, drinking coffee and talking about her grand vision to investors, Sarah was in a humid kitchen, mixing oils, sterilizing bottles, and handwriting labels until her fingers ached. She gave her heart and soul to this project. She treated Pure Nature as if it were her own child. She felt a deep sense of pride every time a new formula worked perfectly. She imagined that once the business succeeded, she and Maya would be equal partners, leading a company that changed people's lives. Finally, the brand launched. It was a massive success. A famous local influencer posted a video using the Sarah Special face cream, and suddenly the website crashed from too many orders. Thousands of jars were sold in a single week. Sarah was exhausted but glowing with happiness. She thought, "Finally, our hard work has paid off. Now Maya and I can finally start our professional journey together." But the success brought a cold wind that Sarah didn't expect. As the bank account grew, Maya's warmth disappeared. She stopped calling Sarah to discuss the next steps. One morning, Sarah went to Maya's brand new office in the city center. She found the doors open, but the atmosphere was different. There were 3 new people sitting at desks, people Sarah had never met. "Who are they?" Sarah asked, feeling a knot in her stomach. Maya looked up from her expensive new laptop. Her eyes were cold, like a stranger's. "Oh, Sarah." "These are professional marketing consultants and a senior operations manager. Now that Pure Nature is a serious company, I need people with real corporate experience and degrees from top universities. Thank you for your help in the early days, but I don't think there is a place for you here anymore. You don't really have the profile for a luxury brand." Sarah felt as if she had been punched. But Maya, I designed everything. I am still looking for a job and I have no money left because I spent it on your jars. I'm sorry, Maya said, turning back to a phone call. I have a business to run and I can't let emotions get in the way of profit. Good luck with your little job search. Sarah went home and cried for 3 days. She felt used, empty, and foolish. But the kind girl habit was hard to break. She told herself, maybe I am being too sensitive. Maybe Maya is right, and I just need to work harder to be professional. A few weeks later, her cousin Mark contacted her. Mark was the star of the extended family, but he was secretly struggling. He was trying to pass a very difficult executive exam to enter a prestigious government office. Sarah, please, you're the only one who can save me, Mark begged over the phone. I am failing my practice tests. You are so good at organizing information. Can you rewrite all my study notes and tutor me every single evening for a month? Again, Sarah put her own needs aside. She stopped looking for jobs for herself and focused entirely on Mark. She spent 4 hours every night explaining complex laws and economic theories to him. She ignored her own fatigue and her own mounting debt. She even wrote his practice essays, making them sound perfect. Mark passed the exam with the highest score in his group. He got the high-paying job, the company car, and the respect of the whole family. To celebrate, he threw a massive party at an expensive restaurant. Sarah waited for her invitation, checking her phone every 10 minutes. The invitation never came. When she finally called him, Mark sounded annoyed, as if she were a telemarketer. Oh, Sarah, look, I'm at a dinner with my new colleagues and the directors. It's a very exclusive event. I can't really talk. Thanks for the notes, though. They were helpful. He hung up before she could say a word. Sarah sat on the edge of her bed in the dark. The silence of the room was heavy. She had helped 2 people reach the stars, while she was still stuck in the mud. She realized she was like a bridge. Everyone walked over her to get to the other side, but once they arrived, they never looked back at the bridge. Broken and exhausted, Sarah went to visit her grandmother, Nina. Grandma Nina lived in a small cottage filled with books and the scent of dried herbs. She was a woman who had survived many storms, and she could read Sarah's heart just by looking at her hands. "What is wrong, my little bird?" Nina asked, pouring a cup of dark, warm tea. Sarah broke down. She told her about Maya's coldness, about Mark's arrogance, and about the deep, hollow feeling of being invisible. "I try to be a good person, Grandma. I give everything. Why does it feel like I am being punished for being kind?" Grandma Nina sat down and took Sarah's shaking hands in her own firm, wrinkled ones. "Sarah, listen to me. Being kind is a beautiful gift, but being too kind is a dangerous weakness. You are acting like a candle in a windstorm. You are so busy trying to light everyone else's room that you are burning yourself down to nothing. Soon there will be no wax left, and your own life will be in total darkness." "But isn't it selfish to think of myself?" Sarah whispered. "No," Nina replied firmly. "You cannot pour water from an empty cup. If you do not value your own time, your own brain, and your own heart, why should anyone else? It is time to stop building other people's palaces and start building your own home. You need to learn a new way of living." "You need to focus on Sarah." "But I don't know how to start," Sarah admitted. "You start by changing your methods," Nina said. "You must learn the power of the word no, the discipline of goals, and the absolute sacred value of your own energy." That night, Sarah didn't cry. She took a fresh notebook and wrote in bold letters on the first page, "Focus on myself, the reconstruction." She realized that her kindness had been a lack of boundaries. She needed a system to protect herself. She developed 4 specific methods that would guide her new life. Sarah stopped reacting to other people's emergencies. Instead, she defined 3 non-negotiable goals for herself. Secure a professional career in project management, where her skills actually belonged. Save enough money to become financially independent from her parents. Rebuild her mental and physical strength through daily discipline. Every time someone asked for a favor, she asked herself, "Does this help me reach one of my 3 goals?" If the answer was no, she didn't do it. She realized that every yes to someone else was a no to herself. A week later, a friend called asking her to spend the weekend helping her bake 200 cupcakes for a local fair, for free, of course. Old Sarah would have said yes and felt miserable. New Sarah took a deep breath and said, "I'm sorry, I have committed that time to my own professional development. I won't be able to help." Her friend was shocked and even tried to guilt trip her. Sarah felt a sting of guilt, but she didn't change her mind. She realized that if someone only liked her when she was useful, they didn't really like her at all. Sarah realized she had a natural talent for management, but she needed a professional shield. She used her remaining energy to study for a recognized certification in digital project management. She spent the hours she used to spend on Mark's essays studying for herself. She realized that when she worked for herself, she didn't feel tired. She felt powerful. Her brain, which had been used to solve Maya's problems, was now solving her own. Sarah stopped announcing her plans to the world. She learned that energy leaks happen when you tell the wrong people your dreams. She worked in silence. She woke up at 6 a.m. to exercise and study. She stopped answering the phone after 8 p.m. She created a sacred space around her life, where only positive and productive thoughts were allowed. 3 months later, the transformation was visible. Sarah's posture had changed. She walked with her shoulders back and her eyes forward. She was no longer the helpful little girl from the neighborhood. She was a focused woman. She applied for a high-level position at a major international creative agency. During the final interview, the director looked at her portfolio. He saw the work she had done for Pure Nature, the branding, the logistics, the market analysis. "This is incredible work for someone so young," the director said. "Why isn't your name on the official board of this company?" Sarah didn't sound bitter. She sounded wise. "I provided the foundation for that company as a consultant. However, I realized that my vision and my standards for professional partnership were higher than what they could offer. I am looking for a place that values growth and integrity." The director was impressed by her confidence and her clarity. He offered her the job on the spot, with a salary that would not only help her parents, but allow her to move into her own apartment. One evening, Sarah was sitting in a chic cafe, finishing a report on her laptop. She was wearing a professional suit, and she looked like the success she had always wanted to be. Suddenly, the door opened, and Maya walked in. Maya looked terrible. Her hair was messy, and her eyes were red from stress. When she saw Sarah, she ran over as if she had found a life jacket in the middle of the ocean.
"Sarah? Oh, thank God. I've been trying to find you," Maya cried, sitting down without being invited. "The consultants I hired were a disaster. They spent all the money on ads that didn't work. The new manager quit, and the customers are complaining about the quality of the new batches. Everything is falling apart. Please, you have to come back. I'll pay you something soon, I promise. Just fix it like you used to." Sarah looked at Maya. She didn't feel the old urge to jump up and help. She felt a strange sense of peace. "Maya," Sarah said, her voice calm and steady, "I have a career now that requires all my focus. I am managing million-dollar projects for people who respect my time and my expertise. I cannot come back to fix a house that you chose to burn down." "But we are best friends," Maya pleaded, her voice cracking. "Friends respect each other's worth," Sarah replied. "I was a friend to you, but you were never a friend to me. I wish you the best of luck with your business, but my help is no longer a free resource." Maya left the cafe in tears, realized that she had lost the most valuable person in her life. Moments later, Sarah's phone buzzed. It was a text from Mark. "Hey, Sarah, my boss needs a report by tomorrow morning, and I'm stuck. Can you take a quick look? I'll buy you a coffee next time." Sarah didn't even reply. She simply blocked the number and went back to her work. She was busy building her own future.
Sarah returned to her grandmother's cottage one last time before moving into her new city apartment. She brought Nina a gift, not a favor, but a beautiful silk scarf and the finest tea she could find. "You have arrived, Sarah," Nina said, touching the silk. "I have, Grandma," Sarah smiled. "I learned that kindness without boundaries is just self-destruction. I learned that being the CEO of my own life means deciding who gets access to my energy." Sarah remained a kind person. She still helped her parents. She was still polite to her neighbors, and she was a supportive colleague. But she was no longer a people pleaser. She had built a wall of self-respect that no one could climb without her permission. She realized that the most important relationship she would ever have was the one with herself. By focusing on her own growth, she became a better daughter, a better professional, and a truly happy woman. She was no longer just a girl from a modest family who was too nice. She was Sarah, a woman who knew exactly what she was worth, and she was no longer for sale. If you made it this far, thank you for listening to Sarah's journey. Her story reminds us that kindness should be a choice, not a prison. Now, I have a question for you. Have you ever felt like a bridge for others? Have you ever struggled with saying no? Let me know your thoughts and your own method for self-focus in the comments below. I read every single one of them. If you found value in this story, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel reach more people who might need to hear this message today. And if you want more stories about personal growth, self-love, and success, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. Remember, your time is valuable. Your energy is a gift. Don't waste it on those who only see you as a tool. Focus on yourself, build your own palace, and the right people will eventually find you. Stay strong, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next one.